obviously All Out ended with just like the craziest blockbuster debuts of all time. Like when what was the feeling for you when Kenny Omega was like, we're gonna, I'm the best and there's nobody better than me, and then the lights went out and then it wasn't Bryan Danielson, it was Adam Cole instead? How did you feel about
So,
that? Like, take me through your
in,
emotional journey.
in all honesty, I wish I actually could properly remember, because I do remember Kenny and Sable being like proper like Jen, like they were howling at me because I kept talking about his hair. And I think, do you know what I think I kept saying is like, so obviously as a blonde myself, I
Mm-hmm.
always use silver shampoo, but silver shampoo is like bright purple. So I was I think I was saying like, I mean, it was typical. Sondra, you and I we've actually not watched a pay-per-view together, but like,
We've watched
if
some wrestling together, I
we've
think, like
watched
on
some
tour, like
wrestling,
clips
yeah.
more than full
So
shows.
but the thing is, if you watch pay-per-view with me, you realize that my comment, this is why I am not on commentary, because I am actually, my chat is so dire, especially after a few shandies. So I was like, oh my God, his hair. And I was like, he looks like me in the shower. He looks like me with my silver shampoo on. And Kenny Miller, like, what? And I was like, I'm Jenny Omega. Like giving it all this chat. I mean, I was
Uh-huh.
like, actually, my patter was rotten. And I was like, oh man, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. And I
Yeah,
was
Kenny was telling
raging.
me how much you were not a fan of Kenny Omega.
No, 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 no. I was like, nope, can't do it, can't do it. And then see when he was starting, and I turned around to them, and I was like, this is it. I was like, this is it. He's coming out. He's coming out. And then everyone was like really being like, don't know, Jen, don't know. Like, and I was like, no. And I was like, so like, this is it, guys. And then obviously Adam Cole came out, and I was like, I'm excited, but I'm sad. Like, so I was like shocked. I was actually quite shocked, if I'm honest. Because I genuinely thought like, right, like to be fair, I know that sounds so stupid because I'd said earlier that I wasn't 100% sure that Daniel Bryan would be there, but it was like I'd built myself up so much, like thinking, okay, this promo is like really going places, like he's really slamming things, and I was
Well,
like,
and did you hear the comments that Punk made on Renee's podcast earlier in the
no,
week?
I've not.
So when Renee asked him, I think like who he would want to tag with if he ever had to like face the Bucks or something, and Punk goes, "Wait, which day does this come out?" And she's like, "It comes out on Saturday." And he goes, "Well, I'll just say, like if Bryan Danielson were to ever be there," he was like, like I'd want to tag with Bryan Danielson
Sure,
against the
I'd
Bucks.
die.
And so it was
I'd
just
die.
very cheeky, like the way he was like, "What day does this
Yeah,
podcast come out? Like, do we
I
know? Do
love
we
it.
not know?" Kind of thing. It was like he's gonna be there. So when
I
Adam Cole
love it.
came out, I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, it's
Well,
him."
this is that. I was like, oh, like I wasn't disappointed. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't disappointed, but I was just like, it was that kind of weird. Like I'd hyped it up so much in my personal self. It was
Uh
my
huh.
fault. It was my issue.
Which is
And
like
I
the
was like,
problem that we do, right? Like you
yeah,
start to
yeah, of
expect things that
course.
you want so badly.
Of course. And I was sitting there and I was like, and then I was like, oh, but yay, but oh. And then because obviously then he came out and I was like, right, don't do it. And I was like, it's going to be so, if he's just like one of them, I was like, no, no, don't do it. And I was like, this could be a really fun story. And then he did. And I was like, ugh. And I genuinely thought that's how it was going to end at that
Mm-hmm.
point. And I was like, oh, well. And I was like, look, here we are. It's a boys' club again. Like, it was
Yeah.
that. And then when that music hit, and I was like, what? And it was one of those moments where I was sitting there and I was like, did you just hear that? And then I was like, because obviously it changed, like,
Uh
because he's
huh.
got music and stuff. But I was just like, I heard that, and then I seen him, and I literally ran to the where the front of the screen was, and then just dropped down and cried. And everybody was just like, "Oh God, there she goes!" Like like I am the most like ridiculously dramatic person watching wrestling with. So yeah, I was like super like I couldn't contain myself. I was just so freaking excited.